Hey, friends. Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. Come join me, your host, Nicole, for some hope-filled conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing. Hey, Hallmarkies. Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'm very excited to be chatting with the wonderful and incredibly talented Jaycie Dotin, who we all know from Curious Caterer and some of her other Hallmark work, like Love at First Dance, A Christmas Duet, If I Only Had Christmas, Aurora Tea Garden, Honeymoon, Honey Murder, and Merry-Go-Round. Welcome to the podcast, Jaycie.
Thank you so much for having me, Nicole. I'm really excited about this.
Yes, and thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Of course, anything for you guys.
So before we get into Curious Caterer and some of your Hallmark work, how did you get your start in acting and what inspired you to become an actor?
Oh my gosh. Well, I actually started out, let me start from the beginning, really.
Okay.
My dad was a professional musician for the first, big chunk of my life. And so I grew up in the entertainment industry watching, how that could actually be a career, a path that you could take. So I have to say that, like, from a young age, I knew that I always wanted to perform. But initially, that came in the form of dancing, singing, doing theater, more live, like stage shows. And so I think that was kind of my inspiration. And then I just never really saw myself doing anything else. So I pursued that. I majored in musical theater in college, and then went on to do a ton of live theater all over the place. I performed in Vegas for a bit. I was on cruise ships for a bit. I did a Broadway national tour for a while. Um, and then when I moved up to Vancouver, Canada, with my husband, theater isn't as popular as like a career here. It's more of like a hobby. So I was like, well, I got to find something to do. So we switched over into film and TV, and here we are.
Awesome. Well, we're glad that you're a part of the Hallmark community.
Thank you. I am too. I'm honored to be a part of it. It's such a wonderful place to be.
And we have some similarities with background. My dad is a musician as well. And back in the 80s or 90s, before I was born, he did a Songwriters in the Round with Jim Messina from Loggins and Messina.
What? That
Yeah.
is amazing. I wonder if our dads know some of the same people. We'll have to do some digging on that and see.
Maybe, yeah, they could.
Yeah.
And he did a Holiday Inn tour too around the Southeast, which was fun. I
Well,
think it was before I was born.
my dad used to tour, I want to say like 70s, 80s, and then he stopped when my brother was born in the late 90s. But I was on tour with them all up and down the East Coast. So we'll have to dig into that and see if they
Yes,
know each other. That would
yes,
be so funny.
it would. Yeah. And I get a lot of my musical interest, like music taste from him. Like I love a lot of the 70s music.
Same. I'm a disco baby for sure.
I think way back when I was in, let's see, what grade was it? Eighth grade, I think. Seventh or eighth grade. I've seen America in concert and I've seen Loggins and Messina. And I told my friends, the particular day of the concert, and they were like, who is that?
And you're like, come on, really?
Oh, but yes, they put
I've
on a
been
great
there.
show.
I've been there.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. But anyway, getting back to your work, do you prefer episodic TV or made for TV movies?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Um, I think I have yet to be on as like a regular on a series. I think that if I had that opportunity, I would probably prefer episodics. Right now, my work in episodic is more like a couple episodes here and there. So I think right now I'm kind of leaning toward the MOW made for TV movie world, specifically the Curious Caterer series, because that is kind of an episodic in a way. I get to come back and play the same character and be with the same amazing team every single time. So MOWs for now, but we'll see what happens in the future.
Both are great, episodic and made for TV movies. I do remember you were on an episode of Nancy Drew, and you did a great job.
Thank you. Yes, I did one single guest star on that, but it was a great character because her story actually sort of, even though I wasn't in the episodes after that, her story kind of was woven through the rest of the season. So that was a really exciting one. And what a great team to work with. They were all
Yeah,
so lovely.
it was a great show. I'm kind of sad it's not on
I
anymore.
know, me too. It was
Great
so
cast.
lovely,
Yeah,
but all good things come to an end, and it just opens the door for something new. So
very true. Yes. Your first role on Hallmark was in the movie Love at First Dance, where you played a character named Cindy. Could you share a little bit about that and how you got that role?
yeah, that was actually a really interesting story. That was one of my first film and TV gigs altogether when I first started that portion of my career. Um, and this role specifically needed a dancer. And so the initial part of my audition process had nothing to do with acting. It was all about doing like ballroom and like couples dancing. So we went to a dance studio. We got paired up with people we never met before. They taught us a couples routine. And so that was actually our initial audition. And then after that, we were given our sides and we had to do our on camera acting work. But I was still very new to on camera acting. I was still kind of in my big theater mode. So I'm in my mind, I'm like, I got it because I was a dancer. I got it because I was a dancer. But then that just sort of led into, leaning hard more into the film and TV style of acting. But it was really fun. I had such a great time, and we were able to work with Paul Destrooper, who is one of the choreographers for the ballet company in Victoria, British Columbia. So I had a few rehearsals with him at their studio, which was it was a really, really cool experience. It's not your typical film and TV role because I had that dance sort of aspect to it. So it was really special. It was a really fun one.
That's awesome. And you did a great job. I really
Oh,
enjoyed that movie. Yeah.
thanks. It was really cute, right? Oh,
Yes.
and I got to work with Niall, which was amazing.
Love
He's so
Niall.
smart.
Yeah.
I know he's like the guy. So yeah, we had a really, really good time on that one.
And I love Becca too. I know her, I
Yeah.
think the first time I saw her was in Glee.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Way
I mean,
back.
the talent in that little body.
Yes.
And she's so sweet,
She does.
so lovely to work with. Yeah, that was all over a wonderful first experience in the Hallmark world.
I hope you'll get to work with them again in the future because,
Ooh, me
yeah.
too. Yeah. You never know, right? Everybody kind of crisscrosses and goes in and out. And so, we'll
Yeah.
see.
You've also worked on projects with Hallmark, such as A Christmas Duet, If I Only Had Christmas, Aurora Tea Garden, Honeymoon, Honey Murder, and Merry Go Round. What was your experience like on those sets? And are there any fun memories to share from filming? And also, shout out to the Postables here. Zach was in Merry Go Round. Did you get to work with Zach or meet him?
I did. Yes. Yeah. We had a lot of days, not particular scenes together, but days where we shot our scenes individually. So I spent some time with him in the green room. Lovely, lovely human being, just
Mhm.
so sweet and so talented.
Yes.
Yeah. So shout out to Zach.
Yes.
Yay.
Zach is fantastic. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's the best. Experiences on those. Oh my gosh. If I had to pick like a favorite moment in one of those, I would say in Aurora Tea Garden, working with Candace was really fun, but
Mhm.
we got to do part of our own stunts in that one, which is rare. I don't typically get to do those, but I don't know if you remember in the end, my I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but my
Yeah.
character was kind of the villain. Shh, don't if you
Yeah.
earmuffs if you haven't seen it. But she ends up chasing me through the woods at the very, very end.
Yeah.
And it was getting really, really late. We were running out of daylight. We had to get the shot. And I believe our stunt crew was at the circus where we have all of our trailers, which was quite far away from where we were actually shooting. And so they turned to us and said, "Hey, would you mind just like doing this?" And we were like, "Yeah, it's fine." So here I am running through the woods, and Candace is running behind me, and she tackles me onto this mat. And it was so fun. And just like one of those random, you look up and Candace Cameron is like sitting on top of you, like saying lines. You're just like, what is happening right now? I do think that they ran it a couple times with our stunt team once they got there, and I think they ended up using that in the movie. But we did get to perform the stunt at least once, so that was
That's
really
awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
And I loved Aurora Tea Garden. I'm sad that they kind of discontinued it because
I
that was,
know, but we've got the prequel now, which is really
yeah.
really cool. So that's cool to kind of see the origin story of all of that. So
Yes.
yeah, that was a really really fun
Yeah.
moment.
I'm glad you got to be in the last one for that era of Aurora.
It kind of special little
Yes.
milestone moment
Yeah.
there.
Yes. Besides Curious Caterer, do you have a favorite role on and off Hallmark that you've had the opportunity to play throughout your career?
I do. So I was in actually I have two. So the first one I'll say, Ivy and Bean on Netflix. It's a children's series based on a book series that was really popular. I think it started in like 2006, I want to say. Don't quote me. But I played Ivy's mom in that show, and oh, the experience, I cannot even explain to you how magical it was. Just every now and then you'll get onto a project where the stars align and everyone is all on the same page, everyone has the same vision, and it's just such a lovely collaborative moment. And Ivy and Bean was 100% one of those times where it was just all perfect. I had no notes. I wouldn't have changed anything. It was magical, and I wish we could have kept doing it for every single one of the books. But we got three of the films in, and if you haven't seen them, even if you don't have kids, they're really, really beautiful movies with wonderful stories, and really grounded, and really just, yeah, really, really awesome experience. So I think Katrine and Ivy and Bean would be my number one. And then I actually just finished shooting a Hallmark Christmas movie, which is going to be out during the countdown to Christmas. I don't know what title they're going to land on, because you know how it'll be one title while we're shooting it and then they change it. So I can't tell you what it is yet because I don't actually know. But when it comes, when they decide what it's called, I will message you and let you know. But I play a neurotic Girl Scout troop leader who she's sort of the villain in the movie a little bit. She has a bit of a redeeming moment, but she was just so wild and crazy and just ridiculously funny, and I had an absolute blast with it. So I cannot wait until I'm able to like share what it is and who it was with, and I think everyone's going to be really excited about that one.
I can't wait to see it.
Same, me too. I am so excited.
I always love the Christmas movies. I love all the movies, but the Christmas ones, there's always something special about the Christmas.
There's just such heart and joy and love that comes out of those. And I think that film too was another one of those special star aligning moments where the whole cast was just lovely and the production team was lovely. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a new favorite come Christmas time.
I'm sure it'll be one of mine too. And speaking of favorites, do you have a favorite Hallmark Christmas movie that is either not your own or, from some of your friends and off Hallmark that is just a classic?
Oh my gosh. I think, and this isn't just because I work with her,
Mhm.
I will say that. I think The World Record Christmas
Yeah.
was such an important story to tell, and that it was told so eloquently and so beautifully. I actually just got to work with Jason Burke, who was the director on that. So that's who just did my most recent Christmas movie. And the collaboration between him and Nikki on that film
Mhm.
it was stunning. So I have to put that one at the top of my list for sure.
Yes. That was one of mine as well. I think it landed in my top 10 last year.
Oh, definitely. It's just stunning, just stunning. And they won, oh, forgive me, I can't remember the name of the award, but they just won
Christopher Award, I think.
I believe so. Yes, thank you. You know, you go to say something and then it just goes whoop, right out of your head.
It's okay.
They just won, and it was a really, really special acknowledgement for them. So shout out to them for that. It's really, really, really cool.
I think my favorite non-Hallmark classic Christmas movie is, oh gosh, that's a hard one. I have so many favorites.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna pick one of them because it's too hard to pick just one. Maybe the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yes, where he falls off the roof and then that was a great movie. That was a
Yes.
great movie. I remember hearing like crazy stories about the amount of time he had to spend in makeup for that.
Yeah, I think I remember
Absolutely
that too.
wild, wild. Oh, if I had to pick one, I would say either A Christmas Story, because I think it's just such a
Never
fun.
seen that.
Really? Oh my gosh, it's such
I'll have
just
to
a
watch it.
it's a unique way of telling it with the narration and everything. It's
Mhm.
really, really cute. I enjoy that. And then The Grinch, but the one
Yeah.
with Jim Carrey, I think
Yes,
is
that's a
his
good one. Yeah.
performance was phenomenal in that.
He
So
nails that role
yeah.
perfectly. And Miracle on 34th Street, that's another good one with the girl from Matilda. I can't remember her name. I feel so
Never
bad.
seen that one.
It's so good.
I know. I see trailers for it all the time, and people are constantly posting about it around Christmas time. And I have never, you know what? I'm gonna put that on my list this season.
Yeah. I need to put A Christmas Story on my list and It's a Wonderful Life. The
I
names
haven't seen
are a blank.
it. I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
I'm
Don't
glad
tell
I'm not
anybody
alone.
except all of your listeners. I've just outed myself. It's like a staple, I feel like, and I've just all these
Yes.
years just let it fly
Yes.
by.
Oh, yes. Most of our listeners always want to know what an actor's most challenging role is. So, what has been your most challenging role?
Oh, I would say I think so far my most challenging would have been I played Mary on Big Sky on ABC.
Part of that
I
show.
had a yeah, I had a two episode arc on that. I played Scarlett's sister. She was one of the recurring characters on that show. And that was a pretty deep character. I kind of had to get into some, some not so savory things. My final episode on that, I don't know if this is going to get a little too dark for this
It's
podcast,
okay.
but my sister's boyfriend is actually a serial killer, and
Oh,
I kind of figure out who he is, and he realizes that, so he kind of comes to my home, and
oh my
I
goodness.
am no longer alive at the end of that episode. Let's just put it that way. So it was a pretty intense scene to shoot. I was tied up. I had a blanket over my head, and it was pretty visceral and pretty intense. So I would say
Oh,
that that's probably my most intense so far. Yeah, but it was great, and I learned a lot on that set.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen previews for it. I've heard it's a good show. I've
it was a
never
great
watched it.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. Really, really good. Great cast. Really, really stacked talent there.
Yeah. A lot of those shows are really popular these days. They've got Big Sky, they've got Yellowstone. I think the spinoff Landman is filming now.
Yep, yep. 19, oh Lord,
Like,
what's the 1939, 27? It's like the Yellowstone
yeah.
prequel. Yeah,
Yes. I know which
yeah.
one you're talking about. Can't
We're in
remember.
a cowboy moment. So we're in the cowboy era of film
Yes.
and TV.
Yes. Never even watched those shows, but it makes me want to go out west and take a trip to Montana or
Right, just do a little dude ranch weekend, roast some calves, you know.
it would be fun. We've always talked about it, my mom and dad and brother and I taking a trip.
Actually, a couple of my friends I was with last night invited me to go to a rodeo in 2 weeks just
Wow.
outside of Vancouver. And I was like, yes, I will go to a rodeo. I've never been. So here we are in cowboy
Yeah.
era.
So here's an actor question that I always like to ask. When you first landed the role of Marla, how did you build her character, and was there anything you added or pulled from the script?
Well, it's interesting with this role. There is so much of that character that is just me. And it was written that way too. I don't know if if John Christian Palmer was following me around and like went, oh, here, there's Marla. It's one of those roles where I got the script and I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do any work. I know exactly who this woman is. I know exactly where her humor lies. And it really is just me. I mean, if you hang out with me for the day, and I'm sure that Nikki can attest to this too, I crack the same jokes that Marla cracks, and it's just who I am.
I love
So
that.
really, there wasn't, I hate to say it, but there wasn't a ton of work that had to go into figuring out who the core of her was. There's obviously scenes and certain things that I have to do still break down, but just the essence of Marla is really just she really is just me. It's kind of scary sometimes, honestly.
Oh my goodness. I was actually going to ask, is there a character trait in Marla that you see in yourself? Like one that stands out?
The humor,
The humor?
definitely the
Yeah.
humor. Yep, yep. The timing and the things that she cracks jokes
Mhm.
about, it's stuff that I do in my daily life.
Yeah.
So 100% the humor.
Yeah. I agree. Your comedic timing is great, and Riley's is as well. Riley always has me cracking up, and you too, of course.
Riley, and I'll be really honest, I have learned so much from watching Riley's delivery on
Mhm.
some of these scenes. It's just he's brilliant,
Mhm.
brilliant
Yeah.
in his comedic delivery. It's
Yeah.
a joy to work with him in some of those scenes. My
Yeah.
gosh, I just love him. He's such a sweetheart.
Yes. I was telling Andrew when I talked to him last week that the scene from, I think it was Fatal Vows, when he and Tom, or when Mason and Tom are in the hotel and Mason sees the towels on the bed shaped like the doves. I was cracking.
Oh man. And the fun thing is about these characters is the more that we go down the line and develop them, the more intuitive our writers are getting as well. And so it's really starting to like really get into that niche and really shape it up. So as good as it was in the beginning, I feel like we are all just getting stronger and stronger and
Yeah.
stronger. So it's just, yeah, it's
Yes.
been so fun.
Yeah. And Mason has some great lines and boiled plans as well. And you did too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's
Great
just all
comedic.
like little quips and little like
Yeah.
buttons and things. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
definitely nailing it.
Yeah. When my mom, dad, and I were watching World Plans, I think it was Friday or Saturday, or maybe it was Sunday night. It was Sunday night. We were cracking up at when Tom and Mason entered the gala.
The pantaloons, the what did he say? My meaty calves. I don't
Something
know.
like that.
I think it's enhanced my meaty calves. So I was watching. So in that scene, Goldie and I are at the top of the stairs
Yeah.
and we're watching everyone come
Yeah.
in. And so we were watching that when it
Yeah.
initially happened, and I had to like bite my tongue because it was the way that he said it. And then seeing him in the tights doing it, like it was just I was on the floor. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, our writers nailed it on this one.
Yes, they did. One of my favorite parts of Curious Caterer is the friendship between Goldie and Marla. So, what are a couple of your most favorite scenes with Nikki?
Oh wow, how do I pick? Um, well, in the most recent one, I think my favorite was the opening when we're pretending
Hmm.
that, we're in like the
That was
medieval.
awesome. Yeah.
That was so much fun to shoot. Like we were genuinely laughing when we were doing
That
that. Like
was
that was
so
not acting. We were cracking up because we did it multiple times, multiple different ways,
cool.
and we just kept changing it up and just being stupid, just being
Mhm.
silly about it. And that I think that was yeah, I think that was my most recent favorite. I think another one would have been when oh gosh, and now I'm forgetting the which they're all kind of like coming together for
Okay.
me. You do them and it's like, okay, what scene was that
Okay.
one in? I believe it was in grilling season. It was in
Mhm.
grilling season when we're like getting ready to go into Kenny's house and
Mhm.
we're like planning that all out. That was a really fun scene at
Yeah.
the board just because we shot that all in one take, one go. And it was just a lot of like volleying back and forth. And then I think my third favorite, I'll stop at three, was the first time I meet Tom at Goldie's door.
Yes, I love that one.
That was a super fun one.
Yes.
And we were still kind of getting to know each other at that
Mhm.
point. But yeah, that was a really, really fun. We got to do a little nudge nudge and joke around with each other. So, but
Absolutely.
honestly, they're all great. Nikki's just so much fun to play off
Yeah.
of. And yeah, I just love her a lot.
Me too. Yes, Nikki is fantastic. I think one of my favorite scenes with the two of you, I think it's in grilling season, when you're both at the murder board and Tom comes by the house and he finds y'all and he's like,
We're like, nothing. We're not doing anything.
y'all are just like, not doing.
Yeah, that was grilling season. Oh my
Every
gosh.
time I laugh,
Good time.
action was just like, open the door.
And Andrew's like dry delivery on that just played off so well with the like us trying to be like nothing, don't see it. It was yeah, that
Mhm.
was really fun.
Yes. This past Friday was the premiere of Curious Caterer Foiled Plans. The setting of that movie is a costume party. So, do you enjoy costume parties?
Oh my gosh, Halloween, costume parties, anything where I get to dress up and be a character. I mean, I'm an actor, right? That's what I do for a living. But when I get to do it in like real life situations, it is
Yeah.
my favorite thing.
Mhm.
I love making costumes. I love coming up with themes.
Mhm.
It's literally one of my favorite things in life.
Yeah. I've never been to a costume party that I can remember, but they are a lot of fun.
Oh, so fun. I'm obsessed with the movie Labyrinth. It's like from
I've
the
never seen
80s.
that.
Oh my goodness. It would probably be ridiculous to you now, but because it was my favorite when I was a kid and I grew
Yeah.
up with it, it's like really
Hmm.
special. There's a moment where they go into this like dream sequence and she goes
Hmm.
to a ball, right? Like a masquerade.
Yeah.
And so when they showed me my costume for foiled plans, I lost it because it was like a childhood dream of mine to have like
Oh,
the little diadem and the
yeah.
beautiful corset with the, oh gosh, yeah,
The
it's my,
costumes were beautiful in
let
Foil
me tell
Plan.
you,
Amazing.
I had no idea what they were going to come up with, right? So we get to read the script ahead of time so we can prepare everything and
Mhm.
then we do our costume fittings. So I was like, oh, I wonder where they're going to get like genuine, and somehow they pulled these costumes out of, I have no idea where, and they were amazing.
Hmm.
Even like our background actors, the costumes that they pulled for
Yeah.
them, talking like fur, like capes and beautiful
Hmm.
gowns.
Yeah.
It was magical, really it was.
Yeah. The costume designer did a fantastic job.
Yes, massive, massive props. Thank you so much.
Yes. I always enjoyed, even though I've never been to a costume party, I always had fun dressing up for Halloween at school with our Halloween carnivals and
Yes. What was your favorite costume that you ever wore for
oh
Halloween?
gosh, I can't even remember every single one, but I do specifically remember one year I was Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. That was a fun one. And then I think when I got into middle school, it was my, preteen era, high school musical era. I dressed up as Gabriella Montez.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Do you know I worked with Drew Seeley,
No,
who,
that's
yes. So
awesome.
Drew Seeley and I did Jersey Boys, the tour
That's
together.
amazing.
Yes. He was phenomenal. Just such a lovely, lovely human being.
Hmm.
His
Yeah.
voice, oh,
Yes.
chef's kiss,
Yeah.
gorgeous. He's
Yeah.
actually someone I really want to work with in the Hallmark world as
I
well.
hope you do get to,
That
because he
yeah.
is
I don't know
fantastic.
how we can line that up. If we can like shout that out into the universe, but that would be
Maybe
really
I
nice.
can start a poll or something on my
I would
Instagram.
love that. I would
Hey,
love
Hallmark, we need this pairing.
that would be amazing.
Yes. With you two as the lead couple.
Yes.
You need a leading role.
Well, thank you. I would not be opposed to it. I do love playing the funny, goofy best
Yeah.
friend, the comedic, but I would love to show a different side. I think that would
Yeah.
be really fun. Yeah.
Fingers crossed it works out because I
One
love
day.
Drew. Yeah. And in general, I would love to see you in a leading role as well. Yeah.
Thank you. That's really sweet.
I saw Drew on the High School Musical tour
You
when I was
did.
in seventh
Oh my
grade.
gosh, he was probably such a baby back then. I would give anything to see video footage. Do you have video footage of it?
I
Did you have?
don't. I'm so mad because I had one of those little miniature cameras from Limited 2 with
Yeah.
the High School Musical album cover on it. And I went and lost the camera, so I have no photos whatsoever from the concert.
Well, you know what? I'll have to reach out to Drew and see if he has any in the archive that he can send us. You could just pop it up on the screen in the middle when you release it.
Oh my gosh. And my
Um,
outfit, that's the only photo I have from the concert, and it was before. My outfit was classic early 2000s. I had a short sleeve white t-shirt with an iron on of the album cover, I think on the back, and High School Musical ironed on the front. And then under that, I had a red long sleeve shirt and jeans, of course. And then I wore tennis shoes and I had a matching red beaded bracelet, necklace, and earrings set from Claire's.
I can picture this. I can literally see it. I'm in the vision in my mind. And you probably were like, I'm feeling myself. Like you were into it, right?
And this was the best part of the outfit. I had one of those sparkly belts that shed really bad. And I
With
chose
the
not to put
glitter.
it through the belt loops. I put it over my shirt.
Classic, classic early
I
2000s.
look at that now and I'm like, what was I thinking?
Well, it's funny because the trendy sort of fashion stuff right now is the stuff that was popular when I was in high school. And so I'm like looking at it going, oh no, 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 no. Save yourselves. Don't do it. Have you not learned from our mistakes? Like, what's going on here?
Goodness. But going into different areas of outfits, is there a wardrobe era that is your favorite?
Wow. I'm one of those girls that it's like it depends on what day it is.
Hmm.
Like one day I'll be like in the 70s. The next I'm like, ooh, let's do a cute little 60s mod situation.
Hmm.
My wardrobe, if you came in here, you would have no idea that it was like one person that owned this whole thing. And then the next day I'll be in sweatpants. Like, no, I don't have a favorite. I think it's just like what I'm feeling that day,
You're
you know?
feeling that day. Yeah.
I think that stems too from what I do because
Hmm.
I'm constantly in different eras in my
Hmm.
job. I'm constantly wearing different wardrobes. So I don't really have one particular
Okay.
style.
Yeah.
No.
I think if I had to pick between two, it would be the turn of the century, so early 1900s or
Yeah.
1920s, which is where When Calls the Heart is at, or the 50s.
Love it. I have a night like an original vintage 1920s flapper dress that you would
Oh,
just love. I got to find somewhere to wear it. I also have to get it altered, but it's been in a garment bag in my closet for ages, and I'm just waiting for the moment. I'm waiting for that right moment.
fingers crossed. The moment comes. And I love Grease. That's one of my favorite musicals, and the wardrobe from the 50s in that was great. Yeah.
It's a great show. They need to revive that.
Hmm. My listeners always enjoy hearing the inside scoop. Was there anything fun or interesting that happened during the filming of World Plans? And what was your favorite scene to film?
Okay, I think a like inside scoop.
Mhm.
Um, so Hatley Castle is where we shot everything in Victoria, BC. And there is a flock of peacocks that live on
Wow.
the grounds. And so we would be shooting and then a little peacock would just like walk across the scene. So for me, that was like a super fun behind the scenes
Oh
moment.
my
I got
goodness.
so much video of them running around and they're just such beautiful creatures.
Oh.
So that was super fun. I'm trying to think of anything crazy. Oh, so there was a moment where myself and Nikki were convinced that the castle was haunted. So we were shooting the scene where all the guests are coming in and they're being announced and
Mhm.
towards the beginning of
Yeah.
everything. And it was between on camera moments where we were moving some stuff around. And as the characters walk in, to the right of them is a big staircase that goes
Mhm.
up into the
Yeah.
balcony where Nikki and I were. And they had a massive candelabra on a table, sort of at the top of that staircase. And I don't know what happened. Someone was moving something and they bumped the table, and the candelabra went flying over the railing and came within like, I'm talking like
Oh,
inches of Andrew's head. And Nikki and I
oh,
watched the whole thing happen, and it was like, oh, someone is after us. Like someone is does not want this movie made in this castle.
oh my goodness.
It was
That is
absolutely
creepy.
wild. Yeah, it was a little scary, but from then on, I was like, I would come in and I'd be like, thank you for letting us be here. Like being nice to all the ghosts.
Yeah. I probably feel the same way.
Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking, but we didn't have any issues after that. So
That's good. Yeah.
we made nice with all the spirits. So
That's good. Yeah. I'm always a fan of the behind the scenes too. I took film class in high school and college, so I always love hearing.
very cool. Were you studying directing or what was your sort of focus?
In high school, it was just an elective class that I enjoyed taking. The first semester, I think I took it in 10th grade. The first semester was film studies, and then the second was filmmaking, where we got to make our own films, which was a lot of fun.
Fun. What was the film that you made?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember, but for film studies, I remember we got to watch some, classic movies or were made, back in the day. I think one of them was, gosh, maybe part of Singing in the Rain. I know we watched part of Schindler's List. That was a hard one. That was a tough movie to watch.
Man, but it is, I mean, it should be studied the way that
Mhm.
they created
Yeah.
that film and the nuances that they had in that. It's mind-blowing. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm glad that they were teaching that in school.
Yeah. I can't even remember all of them, but those were two that really stuck out, I think, that I remember. And then film in college, that was just another elective class I took. I studied graphic design. I'm a graphic design major.
Oh,
And I've always loved film, so I just decided to take film again. And one of them we watched was Rear Window with James Stewart or Jimmy Stewart.
yes. Yeah.
Fantastic film.
Been a minute. It's been a minute since I've seen that, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that you're so like obsessed with the film industry. It's
Awesome.
cool. It's a cool place. Have you ever thought of, getting a career like in going into that?
Mm-mm,
She
no,
says no. Nope.
I always love chatting with actors, like you and all the other Hallmark talent and costume designers, directors, but never really thought about going into that industry, even though I am kind of in a way going into that industry with this podcast. So,
Yeah, you know what? I feel like that's a great way to just kind of dip your toes, and then you
yeah,
don't have to do too much because it is a crazy business.
yeah.
Crazy, crazy business. But yeah, no, you're doing it the right way. You said I'm gonna dip my toes and then I'm gonna go back to my my normal life.
I'm sure it's fun too. I'm sure there's
Oh
some fun.
man, honestly, we're so lucky to get to do what we
Mhm.
do, to be able to tell stories and entertain people and elicit emotions from,
Mhm.
audiences. I mean, it's such a special, special thing that we get to do. It's a very difficult industry, but when we do get the opportunity to play and to do those things, man, there's nothing like it.
Yeah. In Fatal Vows and World Plans, there was a bit of spark between Marla and Detective Track. Will we see a romance develop between them in the future if there are more Curious
You
Caterer?
know, I have no idea. I hope so. But really they don't give us any sort of indication about what's going to happen until I actually read the next script. So
Mhm.
I don't know what the plans are for that, but I really, really hope that they move forward with it because not only do I love those two characters together,
Mhm.
but Brock is just such a lovely human being
He
to
does
work with.
seem like a great guy.
I adore him. I love doing scenes with him. He's such a generous actor, and such a supportive scene partner. So my fingers are crossed. I really hope we see that move forward. Yeah, and I'm not even just saying it, I truthfully have no idea.
It's okay. If you don't know, that's totally okay.
Yeah, I wish I did, but I don't.
Fingers crossed. I hope it works out because the dynamic between the two of you is fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we have a really good chemistry on
Yes, you
on
do. Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
You're welcome. I remember in Fatal Vows, there was that one scene at the end where y'all were joking about the hamburger. I was cracking up.
That was the last scene that we shot for the entire film.
Wow.
Last scene, and we were so, because at the time we had no idea what the next film was going to be.
Mhm.
We didn't know where they were going to take that storyline, because it kind of was left a little bit open. I jump in the car and we go away, but we don't know what happens. So we were really thrilled to see that they brought him back for the next
I
one.
am
But
too. Yes.
that was such a fun scene to shoot because everyone's like, we've been shooting this for 15 days, we're ready to go home, we got one more scene to do, and it was the hamburger one, and we just got to play and have fun. So yeah, that was fun.
Yes, it was. It was a great scene.
Thank you.
What are the future plans for our Curious Caterer? Are there more episodes in the works?
Well, we do have number 5 that we will be shooting soon. I don't have dates. I don't know what it's called. I don't know, but I do know that is going to be in the works soon enough.
That's so
And
exciting.
then after that, it's all up to you. It's all up to the fans. It's like if you want to see more, then tell
Tell
them.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have so much power in what you want to see in your entertainment. So we truthfully don't get to do
No.
this without you. So we are so grateful, for your support and when you speak up and you tell them what you want to see. So number 6 is up to you.
We will definitely keep asking for more because this is one of
Yes,
my favorite mystery series.
is it? Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. There's a lot of great mystery series on Hallmark, but this is one of my favorites.
Absolutely. No, I love a lot of them, but maybe I'm a bit partial because I'm in this one.
It's okay.
It's career stability.
It's okay. Yeah. I know it was, well, I still love this one, but Garage Sale Mystery, that's another favorite. And Mystery 101, of course, which got canceled, unfortunately. And then Curious Caterer.
Oh, Brendan. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Haley Dean. I loved Haley Dean too, but they canceled that one.
Yeah, I know, I know. I feel like they're bringing back, well, because they just rebranded the whole
Yeah,
Mystery
they did.
Channel. I think once Curious Cater, actually, Nikki just told me about this the other day that initially the Mystery Channel was going to go away completely.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't know
then
that.
they, 'cause that's why they started paring down and canceling things and
Mhm.
whatnot. And then they decided sort of last minute, we're just going to do one Curious Caterer. We'll throw it out before everything's done. And the response from the audience was so
Wow.
amazing that they went, hold on a second. Wait,
We're not
this
done.
this might have a new life now. And so they ordered a couple more episodes from us, and then they started kind of bringing back the mystery, and now they've rebranded the Mystery Channel. So
Mhm.
yeah, so that just speaks to the power that the fans have in
That's
this world.
amazing.
So I'm really happy that we were able to be a bit of the catalyst for that.
And too, yeah. Hallmark fans are a force, I will say that.
Y'all, you have no idea. Y'all really are. And I love it because you're so passionate about it. And it just
Yeah.
gives us so much energy and
Mhm.
it just, yeah, so much energy to work off of when we're doing these things because we know that you're genuinely gonna appreciate
Mhm.
and enjoy them and get to watch them,
Yeah.
over and over and over again. So it's yeah, it's really, really cool to be a part of that with you.
Oh, yes. And I'm always happy to support, not just Curious Caterer,
But
but everyone
oh
on.
my gosh, everyone. Yes, everyone.
Yeah. And sometimes I even enjoy the mysteries more than the rom-coms, not gonna lie.
Well, we have a little bit of
Yes.
romance.
Well, I meant the rom-com
I
specific.
know. I know. I think that's what they do for the mysteries. They throw the romance in there so we can just
Yeah.
get a wide net around
Yes.
everybody.
Yes. I do love the romance though, of course. I mean,
Oh,
who
yeah,
isn't a fan of romance?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you and your castmates were stranded on Gilligan's Island, which character would each of you be?
Other than our own characters? Oh, you mean characters of Gilligan's Island?
Yes,
Oh
of the
my
show. Yeah.
goodness. You know what's funny? I don't know the characters of Gilligan's Island. I've seen it and I sort of remember. So
Yeah.
I could give you like, okay, so who's the woman with the red hair? She's kind of the like fancy.
Ginger.
Okay, so Marla would be
Okay.
Ginger for sure. I feel like Andrew would be the captain,
Okay.
right? And then who was his like his little
Oh,
what do you call it? Like
Gilligan?
yeah, I feel like
Gilligan.
Mark Riley would be
Riley would probably be Gilligan. Yes, I can
totally
totally see that.
totally. And then who's the like the straight lace there? Because there's another woman who's like a little bit more level headed and like
Oh
was
gosh.
she blonde? I'm trying to remember this.
There was one named Marianne, I think.
I want to say that's Nikki.
That was the dark-haired girl. Yeah.
Okay, then that would be Nikki. 'Cause
Yeah.
she was a little bit more like
Yeah.
level-headed and yeah, she wasn't that crazy. Like, yes. So there you go. Even though I didn't know the names, I remembered the
It's okay.
characters.
It's a good show. Yeah. One
We
of
should
my
watch
favorites.
it when I was a kid all the time, Saturday mornings. Oh my gosh.
I haven't watched that in forever. That
This
and WKRP.
and what?
WKRP in Cincinnati. Love
Oh,
that show.
WKRP. I don't know what that is.
It's about a radio station in Cincinnati, Ohio, and everything that goes into working at a radio station.
Oh my gosh. I'm from Ohio.
That's awesome.
I'm from Akron. Yeah, so I gotta watch that. How do I not know about this?
It's a
W
great show, great comedic
WKRP. Here we go.
timing.
It's you're giving me a whole list of things I'm gonna have to watch. You got
Yeah.
Miracle on 4th Street. Wonderful.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
WKRP in Cincinnati. Done.
Great cast. All of that cast is just
Oh my gosh.
fantastic.
I'm really excited. I'm assuming it's a comedy.
It's
I
a
assume
comedy. Yeah.
that's
I mean, they've
so
got some romance. I think they've got some, tear-jerking moments at times, but it's mostly a comedy.
awesome that I'm totally in. I love comedies.
Yeah. Looking ahead, what is next for Jaycie Dotin?
Oh my goodness.
Curious Caterer.
Well, yeah, so I like I said, I just wrapped the that
Yep.
Christmas movie, which I'm really, really proud of, and I'm really excited to see it. So just kind of coming off of that. Oh gosh, I have a lot of travel plans happening this summer, which is going to be really
Fun.
cool. My husband's best friend just got engaged, and he's a pilot, and so his base is in Prague at the moment. So we're going
Wow.
to Prague and visit them and celebrate with them, and do a
Um,
little bit of touring.
mhm.
Possibly go see where my ancestry is from. So my
Yeah.
family has a little bit of Hungarian in them. So we're gonna go maybe try and go find like where my great 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 grandmother used to live. Do
Amazing.
one of those ancestry sort of
Yeah.
trips. I also work as an interior designer in my off time, so that's kind of my
Oh,
side job from acting.
okay.
And so I'm heading out to New York on Monday to help sort of finish up a house that we've been designing over the last year.
That's
We need to
amazing.
go in and stage everything and get all the furniture and the paintings hung and
Mm.
get it all ready for the owners to move in. So that's exciting. Friend of mine is getting married this summer, and then another friend of mine is actually sorry, not another friend, my same friend getting married in August, and then he's making his Broadway debut in October. So
That's
I'm really, really excited to go and support him in that and see him in that. It's just such a
amazing.
cool thing to see someone. We went to college together, so we studied musical theater together, and that was the dream, right? That was the dream when we were all in school, and now he's actually getting to live it. So I'm really,
Oh,
really looking
that's
forward to that.
amazing. I
Yeah.
wish him luck on his Broadway debut. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. It's going to be a really cool show. Sunset Boulevard, if anybody's interested.
I've
Um,
heard of that. Yeah.
yes.
Never
Uh,
seen it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
yeah, it's a very interesting take on it as well, kind of an artsy sort of vibe with it. So I'm excited to see him in
I'm
that.
sure he'll do a great job.
He will.
And that's really cool that you're in interior design as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I started about seven years ago. I decided to go back to school, and it served me well during the strike and during COVID and all those times when we weren't able to work over the last couple of years. And it's something that's still really creative, and it actually helps me appreciate set design as well.
Mhm.
So really understanding how color palettes and set pieces and furniture pieces can really sort of add to a character and add to their story. So it's a little, intertwined with what I do in the entertainment industry. So
Oh.
yeah.
One of my favorite shows is Fixer Upper on the Magnolia.
Yes. Yes, I love an HGTV show. I
Yes.
actually, when I started studying, I was like, maybe I can use this new skill and get my own HGTV show and be a host, and then also really understand the design side of things. But that
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet. But lots of stuff in the future.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of all those home design shows.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch. Good, nice to dream of like doing that to your own home. Hey,
That's all I watch, the home design shows and Hallmark.
love it, love it.
Before we wrap up, I have some fun rapid fire questions for you.
Terrible at these, but I will do my best. Okay.
Favorite classic mystery?
Oh my gosh. Favorite classic mystery. Ooh, I gotta go with like Sherlock Holmes. I think
I
that those stories are so well written and they're super fun. Okay, Sherlock Holmes there.
think mine is Nancy Drew. Just gonna
Mm.
love Nancy Drew.
Second for me. Nancy
Have
Drew's
all
a
the
second.
books, or most of them. Favorite rom-com?
Ooh, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Never seen that, but I've heard of it.
Oh my gosh,
I need to watch it.
it's so good.
I have a lot of favorites. I think one of mine is 13 Going on 30 with Jennifer Garner.
That's also a fantastic. Are they remaking that? I feel like I saw something, or maybe
Oh.
they were doing something for the anniversary.
Mhm.
Don't quote me on that, but I feel like I saw some news about it recently. So
I
that would
did
be cool.
see Freaky Friday is coming back for a second.
Okay, maybe I'm confusing it with that. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's a
great,
funny movie too.
great film.
Yes. Favorite food?
Sushi.
I've never had a lot of sushi. I am a fan of the California spring roll, I think is what it's called, the
Uh-huh.
one with the rice and the avocados. I do like that one.
Yeah, and the crab meat inside of it.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yes.
love sushi. Sushi and Indian food, those are my two faves.
Favorite travel destination?
Greece.
Never been to
I got
Croatia.
engaged in Santorini.
Wow. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
it was ridiculously
country.
amazing.
Yeah. Never been there, but I've heard it's beautiful. Yeah.
Stunning. Yeah.
I know from Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I know that was part of.
Also a great movie. Also a great
Yes.
movie.
Love that movie. Yes. favorite binge-worthy show on Netflix right now, or any other streaming network?
Oh, right now I'm watching Palm Royale on Apple TV.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Let me tell you, from an actor's standpoint, the performances in that show are perfection. No notes. It's the best. Watch it. Period.
I'll definitely have to watch it. Carol Burnett is
She's brilliant. Allison Janney, who I was very lucky to work with on her movie Lou on Netflix. I had like one tiny little scene with her, but it was like bucket list of mine. She is one of the best actors on the planet, period. She's amazing. Yeah. Wig is hilarious. I mean, it's brilliant.
Yeah. I've only seen her in Hairspray so far, back in 2007, but she's fantastic.
Oh, that's right. I forgot she was in that.
She played Penny's mom. Yeah. I can't remember her character.
Yes. I don't know.
I believe so.
I can't remember. I told you I'm terrible at these rapid fire things. My brain is.
It's okay. Oh my goodness. Favorite music artist?
Oh gosh. Right now, Lake Street Dive.
Never heard of them.
Oh, they're phenomenal musicians. Yeah, really.
Check them out. You said Street Dive?
Lake Street Dive.
Lake Street Drive. I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, please do. They're awesome.
Yeah. I think mine currently, I have a lot of favorites, but I'd have to say Zealand is a good one.
Oh, I don't know them.
It's just a single artist. Her name is Angie Miller.
Okay.
She was on American Idol, but she rebranded for her music. So her artist name is Zealand.
Zealand. Okay, you're just giving me a list of things I'm going to have to check out after this. This is awesome.
I will message you.
Up on my pop culture. I love it.
I will message you a link to her music.
Please do. Please. That would be awesome. I'd love to listen.
She's fantastic. And I actually got to meet her twice in 2013. Yeah.
Gosh, that's awesome.
So sweet. Yeah. I met her on the Idol tour, and then I met her on a Christmas tour with Michael W. Smith. And I got to hang out with her for about an hour. So sweet.
That's awesome.
Yes. I think that wraps up the rapid fire. That was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm terrible at those because I'm like, my brain.
Okay. I'm not very good at them.
I have 17 favorites.
It's okay. At the end of my interviews, I always ask my guest to share an inspiring quote or a piece of advice. Do you have a great quote or piece of advice that you'd like to share?
Oh my gosh. I don't want to get this wrong. Let me say it in my mind first to make sure I'm saying it right. Oh gosh, it's something along the lines of, it's amazing what goes into making something look effortless. And actually, I think I said it perfectly. That just came out of nowhere. Yeah, it's amazing what goes into making something look effortless. So you can see someone who is just nailing something, whether it's a talent, skill, whatever it might be. And you might look at them and think, oh my gosh, that comes so easy to them. Why can't I do that? Or why can't I be as flawless or as effortless, so to speak, as that person? But what you're not seeing is the 10, 15, 20 years that they've put in, the blood, sweat, and tears, the failures. You don't see all of that. So you have to just remind yourself that there is a path, and even though it might be hard, you will eventually get to where you're going. Very true.
Yeah.
And don't compare yourself to where other people are at in their journey. Everybody's on their own thing. Just follow what you got to do and do you.
Yep, do you. And don't give up either.
Never. Oh my gosh, never. Because you never know. Never know what tomorrow brings.
Yes. Well, this was so much fun, Jaycie. Thank you for taking the time to come on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast. I welcome any opportunity to hang out with you again.
I can't wait to have you back on again in the future.
Same. And I just want to thank all of your listeners too for supporting us, and not even just us, just for supporting the network and for supporting your favorite films. And if it is Curious Caterer, awesome. If not, great. We really, really appreciate you guys. It's we could not do it without you.
We appreciate all the work that all of you put in as well to making these movies.
Thank you. It's nothing. We love doing it.
All right, Hallmarkies, I think that wraps up my interview with Jaycie Dotin. If you enjoyed this episode, you can like this video, and share your thoughts on Curious Caterer foiled plans in the comments. If you want to stay up to date with all of my episodes and any possible interviews, you can subscribe to this channel and make sure to turn on the bell so you are alerted when new episodes come. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Love y'all. Bye.